Hello everyone, welcome to I Roll It, I Review It. Quick reviews chosen at random. To start, I need to see where I'm watching. 3 is the dice favorite, Tubi. Now roll for genre. 8, comedy. Okay, now I gotta roll for the movie. 2 is The Perfect Kiss. Why do I keep getting these movies? Alright, let's go check it out. I've seen a bunch of these kinds of films, so I have a feeling what I'm in for. I was, in fact, not prepared. Do you remember how much I hated Kicking It Old School? This movie was worse. Way worse. So much worse. I'd actually watch Kicking It Old School again instead of this. The Perfect Kiss was written and directed by Tina Adams. This movie made no sense, but I'm going to try and explain it. Tanya plays a bumbling real estate agent. Her relatives are trying to set her up on a date with this oddball named Igor. Oh, and there are also some Russian spies who are on an undisclosed mission, and they occasionally need to lock Tanya in her room. She gets fired from her job for screwing up a $15 million deal with a guy, Brian, who immediately falls in love with her. However, he tries repeatedly to be nice to her, but she yells, "Stranger danger." No, really. She meets a doctor. Oh wait, let me quote him. "I work in the hospital as a doctor. I am a brain surgeon." Something that sounds so believable. He kisses her and she feels it's the perfect kiss, so now she's in love with him. She is, in fact, an idiot. Since Tanya screwed up the real estate deal, she's out of work, and she can't stay with her relatives, so she goes to live with her best friend, who's married to her ex-boyfriend. Only her friend ends up leaving her husband for another man, Dr. I am a brain surgeon, unbeknownst to Tanya. Tanya doesn't know what to do, so she meets up with Dr. I am a brain surgeon, who tells her that she can live at his place, and since she's a realtor, she can sell it. She moves in and can't seem to understand why there are photos of this black guy and his family all over the place. Igor then moves in too because, sure. Then the guy in the photo shows up and he's the real owner. He allows Igor and Tanya to live there if they become his servants. During all of this, Tanya occasionally runs into Brian, who's trying to woo her, but she just chases him away. The only person who's trying to be nice to her. Tanya's friend realizes she's being taken advantage of, so she goes back to her husband, but she convinces him that she left because it was his fault and makes him beg her to take him back. Some random person who they never say who she is shows up at the house and tells Tanya that she needs to go and accept love from Brian. So now, taking advice from this random stranger, she realizes that Brian is pretty great. After finally talking to him, she goes to meet him at his giant mansion. Her relatives, the spies, have now taken jobs for Brian as his new chefs. He then kisses her, and it's the perfect Christmas kiss, and the movie ends, and I'm in pain. This movie was like an hour and 15 minutes long, and it felt like an eternity. Everything in the movie was frustrating and made no sense. It was like the writer just had a bunch of zany ideas for scenes, wrote them on Post-it notes, told everyone to film them, and figured they would just stitch the whole thing together later. So many weird things in the movie. From the parents who have spy cameras everywhere, including their daughter's room, to the kid in the subway not playing the saxophone, to the characters that show up and we're just supposed to know who they are. It's irritating. The entire film feels like walking into a movie halfway through every 5 minutes for the entire length of the film. I think the script was written by people who don't understand what words mean. This story was so bad I thought it could have been written by AI. But I tested the theory, and AI actually wrote a better story than what this was. 90% of the cast has this thick accent, so perhaps the whole thing was lost in translation, like Nightmare Weekend. My wife loves Hallmark movies, and so I've seen a bunch of them over the years. I thought this would kind of be like that. It most certainly was not. Those movies, while often corny and cliche, have a certain charm to them. This had none of that. The story made no sense, and everyone, especially the lead, was beyond annoying. Actually, I take that back. The The only bright spot in the entire film was Landy Cannon, and he's barely in it. He's done a few of these romance films, and the others that I've seen him in, like Home for Harvest, were infinitely better. I like him a lot, and I felt bad that he was in this terrible movie. It's ridiculous. At the end, he tells Tanya that she's the best, even though he's never spoken to her for more than 2 minutes. Beyond that, every time he had interacted with her, she was a complete bitch to him. Tanya's character is one of the dumbest, most unlikable people on the planet. Let me just stress, I am not talking about the actress. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I'm talking about the character of Tanya. She was an idiot. The Perfect Kiss is hands down one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's slightly above Getting Lucky, which, if you've seen that one, you know how bad that is. So it's not worse, but it's close. This movie was so bad it made me angry. I watched all 5 Twilight films back to back over 11 and a half hours, and it wasn't as bad as this hour and 15-minute movie. I couldn't believe how bad this was. The Perfect Kiss gets the biggest thumbs down I can fit on screen. I really hope the dice rolls give me something decent next. I'll gladly settle for even mediocre after this. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.